Hey folks, we're live. It's Nicola here. I've come on just 1 minute early to give everybody an opportunity to get here on time because we are at a really exciting moment. Oops, my phone's going off. Forgot to turn that off. We're in a very exciting moment for Bitcoin right now and the markets in general. And we could see some explosions, and that explosion might even happen on the live stream today. So I've just turned my phone off. For those of you who are here early, we'd love for you to like this video. Let's get it shouted out to other people, because I think we're at a critical turning point for Bitcoin as to determine whether or not we are going to have a higher high, go into new all-time highs within the next 30 days. Or are we going to hit a key resistance level, come back down, and the last all-time high sitting just under 70,000, it's like 68,000. That was the all-time high for this bull market, and now we're going to be confirming that we are actually in that 2-year bear cycle. So I kind of lean towards being a bit more bullish, being a bit more towards the side of we're going to get another all-time high before we hit Saturn retrograde. But I'm also planning for that not to be true. And this is what I want to talk about today. As a trader or a spot trader, whether you're trading with leverage or just spot trading and hodling to sell at the top of the market, you need to have a plan A and a plan B. You need to know, if the market moves this way, this is what I'm going to do. If the market moves that way, this is what I'm going to do. So that being said, I've got 2 announcements before we start looking at live technical analysis for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I have a quick look at the S&P 500. That is that this afternoon on Zoom, I'm having a free masterclass for you. The link is below for you to register for that. Not long after the live stream finishes, like about an hour later. So 1 o'clock Mountain Time, 3 o'clock Eastern Time in the US time zones. So if you're in Europe, that's going to be around your dinner time, I think, or in the evening. So hopefully you can make that. What I'm going to be talking about in the masterclass are strategies, like what's a really good strategy, whether it's a bull market or a bear market, for you to be not only trading and making a profit, but also how to turn that into a passive income that is compounding. We're going to be looking at what kind of a mindset you need to be looking at, what you need to be doing to have a good mindset, as well as talking about the market and the big overall perspective of what you need to look for to determine whether we're going to go to 2 years of lower prices, how low we can go, what the bottom is and what the top is. So that's all in today's masterclass, link below. It is recorded, so if you're seeing the replay of this, you can go and sign up and you will be automatically taken to the recording so you can watch it. It's about an hour and a half. Super important, but coming live means we can talk and you can ask questions. Okay, cool. So let's go. Have a look at this. This is a chart on Bitcoin that I actually haven't looked at for a while. And then I remembered, look at this, we've got a megaphone, a really giant megaphone. And this is one of the reasons why we're getting volatility coming back into the market, because megaphones get wider and the swings to the upside and the swings to the downside get bigger and bigger. Now, here's the thing, write this down. If we do not break 47,822 by around about the 20th of May, I don't think we're going to create an all-time high. I think the all-time high is more likely going to happen August, September, October. No, not August, September, October, November, when we get back out of retrograde season. And the reason I'm saying that is because in the beginning of June, we have a Saturn retrograde, and Saturn retrogrades are all about slow progress, tough times in the financial markets. And we often see a huge plummet, which is one of the reasons why in the stock market, when I worked in the stock market, we would say sell in May, go away, because Saturn retrograde always comes in and around about the end of May, June, and boom, plummet. And then, you know, you have a holiday. And that is certainly what the setup is again for now. But in the short term, there is excitement about this downward narrowing wedge that in my charts, we have actually broken to the upside. And I think this is a Coinbase chart. I don't have my Bybit chart up here yet. We can have a look at that later. But we've broken out so we can come back down on the retracement. We bounce off of that. That's a really good long, at the very least, to the top of this here. That's 7%, and at 10x leverage, that's a 70% run. If we break back into this upward trending channel, then we could go all the way up to 43,000, and that's kind of like the line in the sand, and that's a 12%. So that's a good long. And if we hit this megaphone resistance, get rejected off of it, we could trade sideways here a little bit. Maybe the full moon pump starts to come in and we pump up above it. That's good. That's looking good for higher prices. But if we come back down under it, remember this, oopsie, this is it's like, I still have not mastered my mouse. So we could be looking at lower prices, because look at this. This is an upward ascending channel which breaks to the downside, and it has broken to the downside. It's come back up. It's retested this previous support line as resistance and come back down and created a lower low. So that's the bearish scenario, is that if we don't get up here and create a higher high above 40,488, in my opinion, we get rejected off of that. We could come back down here and retest one of the support levels at 36,800, maybe 36,500, and then come back up for the full moon pump and break through here. That's a possibility. It's also a possibility that we could just ram through this in the next couple of days, because have a look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has got a bull flag here, and it looks like the bull flag is starting to break out, right? And whenever there's bullishness, let me just turn that into yellow so you can see it. Whenever there's bullishness on the S&P in the stock market in the United States, we can often see a move, sudden moves to the upside in crypto as well. This is also breaking right up against resistance now, ready to break this downward sloping resistance to head on high. So that's the bullish case scenario. We do have a bullish divergence starting to play out here anyway on the daily and the hourly for the S&P 500, and on Bitcoin, we have a bullish divergence on the daily and I believe the monthly. So this could well be, I'll go and have a look at that now. Actually, let me just show you. Where is it? Where did we see it? Hang on. Let me just bring this down. Was it the weekly or the monthly? One or the other. Here it is here. See how we've been, no, that's not it. Oh, heck, sorry. I should have done this before. Let me just get back to you on that one, because I drew this in another chart, not on this one. So I will go to that chart in a moment. Anyway, there's a divergence, which is why we're getting a move to the upside. As I said, I do apologize. I haven't looked at this chart for a while, but I wanted to show you that on this chart, we have already broken this resistance. So this is now becoming a bull flag on the 4 hour. So there is a long in process, and it could happen really quickly. So some trading ideas for you, normally with bull flags. Oh, there it is right there. It's the 4 hourly. See here, higher high on the RSI, lower low on the RSI, and boom, we've now started to get that bullish divergence play out. I do apologize for that. As I said, this chart I haven't looked at for a while. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at a good trading idea. So I want to talk a little bit about strategy and risk management here for this, because we are in a really volatile market. you can, because I think that this could be explosive once it moves, right? Once we break out of that bull flag on the S&P 500, we could see a massive move to the upside of around, between 30 and 40%, maybe more for Bitcoin. So normally, like in classic TA with a bull flag, you would wait for a breakout to the top. You would wait for it to retest previous resistance as support, and then you would break up to the upside. Once we cleared the first breakout candle, that's where you would enter the long for a conservative position, right? However, this bull flag has actually broken out of a downward sloping wedge narrowing. So now what we want to do is we want to look for the retest out of that. We've come up. We're going to come down and retest somewhere around here. We might not touch this line. We might fall short of it, bounce off of here, and then come to the upside. And then once we get above 39,536, that is a conservative entry point for a long, and you long it up to the resistance. And we have the first target would be 42,582, but I would put an alarm in at around 40,400 to watch that if we hit this upward sloping, this may reverse on us, right? Because remember, we're in a volatile market and we've got to watch for those reversals and take profit where we can. I spoke about that last week. When it's volatile like this, don't wait and wait and wait and wait for hope we're going to go higher. Take 25% out, 50% out to get some profit out, so that you're in profit. Move your stop loss up into profit or a break even, and that way you have secured that trade. So if it turns around on you really fast, like here, boom, turn around, then at least you've got profit out and you are mitigating your risk. Because any drop to the downside, because we've got this fight going on between the bulls and the bears, could come down and create a lower low and get you liquidated out, depending on where you are with your leverage. So here's the thing to watch out for. This is a breakout a little early. The pinnacle of this breakout isn't until the 9th of May. So this could be a fake out. We could come back down here and trade down a little bit, maybe keep hitting this support level at 37,500 and 37, bounce off of here, get some momentum and really take off there. But with the S&P 500 looking really bullish, it's also possible we could move to the upside. This is why it's important for you to wait for confirmation. You need to wait for confirmation. So what do you need to look at for confirmation? Well, the first thing you want to look at is volume. At the moment, volume's coming in to short this, right? It's not supporting moving up to higher prices. Even here, when we were coming up into here, volume was okay, right? It wasn't spectacular. So watch for volume. We've got to see volume, so it's going to push away from your entry point so that you are going to get into profit soon. Okay, so hi guys. Patience, yes, patience, absolutely, for sure. I'm going to show you another strategy in a moment, but anyway, so that's the first thing you want to look at. You want to also watch the RSI. See, look, the RSI is starting to get up to 60%. It's at 56 at the moment. Ideally, for a long, you want it to be under 60%, under 52%, ideally, right down at the bottom. So you're getting the bottom of this move here. See, this is the RSI was down here at 35% right here, which is when the long would have been good to enter. So if you're in it, hold your horses, right? Just look, make sure that you're getting ready to take some profit here if we get rejected off of this 40,500 line. And then, so that's 2, RSI, volume. The other thing I always like to watch out for too is the Ichimoku on smaller time frames. So if I bring in the Ichimoku cloud, I use Cracking Cryptocurrency Ichimoku because it's set to the 24/7 cryptocurrency market. And just watch what's going on here on smaller time frames. So right now on the 4-hour, we still have bearishness. We've got resistance above us with the red Ichimoku cloud. And we have got this moment here. See where this incline comes in here like this? And we're starting to go up and then come back down. This is not classical technical analysis. This is observation. Sometimes when we see those moves up, I see sudden moves to the upside, which is why I'm saying we could move up, right? We could move up very, very suddenly. So then I'll go down into smaller time frames. I'll come down into the 15-minute and see bullish. We've got a bullish flip on the 15-minute at least. So what do we mean by that? Lagging span above the cloud. This green conversion line above the baseline red. Green clouds are in front of us. Incline going upwards, right? So this is indicating we could break out of this bull flag before breaking down. So now I'm looking for confirmation in the volume, and you look at the volume at the moment is shorting, right? So this could come back down, bounce off of here. So this is one strategy that I use. And if you're going to do this, you have to do it with low leverage. Is that if we get a bounce candle on the 1 hour from here, I'll either market order in or place an order just a few pips underneath the actual current price to get in at the bottom of this bull flag. I'll put in another buy order down here just underneath me, and then the stop loss at the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. So it's a very tight stop loss, so that if I don't, and I'm usually only starting with 2 to 3x leverage, so that if this does break to the upside without me getting in, at least I've got skin in the game. I've got some good tactics underneath me to get out if it turns around on me. And then if it comes back up, and then I add to the position and I'll up the leverage. Because at the moment when it's teeter-tottering and it could go up and it could go down, and you want to make sure that you're in, that's one of the strategies that I will use. Now, it is a risky strategy. So don't just do it because I'm saying, because I'm not a financial advisor, all that good stuff. You need to go and have a look at the markets, look at your own research, do your own TA, and go, is that a really good strategy for me to use? But that's one of the strategies I will do when I'm looking at the markets and I'm going to go, gee, it could go either way. I want skin in the game. Let me put in a small position with small leverage at the next line. I might even draw my Fibonacci so I get that entry point perfectly. So I'll take it to the bottom and then I'll take it to the top. And often we come back down and we retest the 50%. So this is looking possible that we could have a fake out to the downside, right? So that's where I would put my second order underneath my market order if we hit 38,648 and we bounce off of that on a 1 hour candle. So now I've got my stop loss in, I've got my buy order in, so I can add to the position and lower my entry point, and then I might add in another once we actually break to the upside. But what I've got is a low entry point, because if you do wait for a sudden move to the upside, you're going to get in at a higher entry point. Does that make sense? If you've got any questions about that strategy, please check us out in Discord. So that our Discord channel is Conscious Crypto Traders. We have live videos every single day on technical analysis, and you can ask questions about what we're talking about as well. And also come to the masterclass this afternoon. So that's that. So now let's take out the Ichimoku cloud. The other thing I'm going to look at is the VPVR, which I haven't spoken about a lot on this channel, and I probably should have been. But there's so much to talk about in these live streams. So let's just clean this up a little bit so you can see. This is where you can see what's the fight that's going on between the bulls and the bears, between the shorts yellow and the long and red, the long and blue. Sorry, that's not red, that's blue. And you can see it's a pretty much a 50-50 fight. I think the longs are slightly in favor, right? And when you see this red line, this is a value area low, which means we could indeed come back down to the 38,518 and bounce off of there, maybe come back lower, come back down here, and then come back up if we do retrace before we head to the upside. Whenever you see these big gaps in the VPVR, that's often you'll see sudden movements, just because there's not a lot of trading going on here. There's not a lot of interest in either shorting or longing. So we don't necessarily meet the same level of resistance as we do when you've got fighting going on between the bulls and the bears at this level. And you can see right up until we get to 40,500, there's that number again, that we've got quite a bit of resistance above us in the and interest in trading that we can watch out for. But to me, this bullish divergence boom here, there it is there, higher low on the RSI, lower low here, is, I think it's still got legs. I think it's still got a little bit further to go. So that is that for Bitcoin. More and more these days, guys, I'm watching the S&P 500 or the SPX index. And just recently, I've also started watching the DXY a little bit more vigilantly. I haven't really been watching it that much because I know it's just been going up and up and up. So I know that crypto's going down, down, down. But look at this. On the 1 hourly, we've got that Elliott wave count up here to 5. And now we're doing possibly the Elliott wave correction. It's like 1, 2, 3. And looking for lower lows. Now, when the value starts coming out of the dollar, that's usually when we see explosive moves in the crypto markets. Now, look at this resistance line. I'm watching this resistance line here. This could be, we've come down into this. So this is an ascending triangle that has a bearish bias, which means that we could be breaking down and coming further down. If that happens, like if we break this line and when this comes down, I think with all of the traders watching this, especially the institutions watching this, this is where we could see that explosive move to the upside. And given, we always like to look at the moon cycles, given that the moon cycles, we've just had the full, the new moon. New moons usually dump into the new moon, and then we keep going lower prices until we come to the full moon where we bottom out and then we pump. If we are in a downward trend, if we're in an upward trend, sometimes we bounce earlier. So if I bring in the moon phases, this was our last new moon. If we break up above where the new moon dumped at around 40,800, that's where I think it's possible we could create higher high and really go to the races when we hit the new moon or full moon, or when we get close to the full moon, which could happen. Mercury retrograde is usually a reversal in trend or trading sideways. In a bull market, sometimes it can be a continuation, but that's the 10th of May. So from the 10th of May to the full moon, 15th of May, those are the opportunities that I think could really be pumping the market. So mark that on the date. And until those dates, which is only, guys, it's the 4th of May. That's only 6 days away, right? Is that right? 6, 7, 8, yeah, 6 days away. We could just be trading within this range here up to the value area high at 42,703. We could just be trading in this range until that comes in. So while there's a lot of bears in the YouTube space at the moment saying we're going down, we're tanking, it's a disaster, there's astrological aspects over the next week or so that are showing that disaster may not happen until the end of May, beginning of June. So in the meantime, the volatility is always good to trade. Get in, get out, get in, get out, right? So that's awesome. So that's great. That's for Bitcoin. Okay, Ethereum, similar. Like if you zoom out on the daily, Ethereum is inside this this bigger channel, and we could break out of this month. If we don't, then we're going to be trading inside of this until we get to the end of July. And then break out from there and start heading up. That's a possibility. It is also a possibility that we could break to the downside, because this is a ascending triangle, a symmetrical triangle that we've come into from the downside. Look at that. We've come down into this triangle, boom, on the daily. I mean, it's always a punt. Like, let's just do some classic TA. I think I showed this to those guys of you on Monday. If you have If you come down, create a symmetrical triangle, continuation pattern means it's going to continue down, right? If you come up into the symmetrical triangle and we get the symmetrical triangle, it's a continuation pattern to the upside, right? That's classic. But when you get these, like, what is that? Is that bearish? Is it bullish? Where we've come down here, the low started the beginning of the pump up into this symmetrical triangle, but we pumped up into it. I've seen that it could go either way. Now, symmetrical triangles usually can go, they're 80%. If it's a bearish, it's 80%, it can break bearish, 20% it could break bullish, and vice versa. If it's a bullish symmetrical triangle, 80% it will break bullish, 20% it'll break bearish. That's classic technical analysis pattern trading. So we often see these contradictory patterns in the market. And this is why I said in the beginning, you need plan A and you need plan B, because it's not about predicting where the market is going to go. It's a law of averages, and you have to play the averages and put in the risk management according to what the risk is and the reward is, and those averages are, right? But right now, it looks like we could be hitting, see, this is a downward trending channel. That's a bullish pattern, broken out of it, come back, retest. We're going up to this golden ratio at 34,075, somewhere around there. That is great. And if we do that this month, then the Saturn retrograde might only just take us back down here, and we've already seen the bottom in for the market. That's a possibility. But we haven't broken out of this yet. Oh, I thought we had. Let's go down into the 1 hour. Yeah, look, this is a bull flag on the 4 hourly, not on the 1 hourly, because we've got that red thing there, but this is a bull flag, and yeah, we're right up against it. I think we could still see a little bit more downward action, come down here and then switch back, get some momentum to break through. But this could break through in the next day, right? This could break through in the next day. If it does not, this is what you need to watch out for. I talk a lot about this in the Discord channel. Bart Simpson, right? We should be breaking out within the next 8 hours if this is a classic bull flag. If we keep trading sideways, the longer we trade sideways, the more we have the opportunity for this to become a sudden dump to the downside to create Bart Simpson's head. So just watch for that. If this keeps trading sideways inside of that bull flag, we could see a sudden dump to the downside. Let's bring in Ichimoku and see what Ichimoku is going to tell us. Ichimoku's there. Look at that. There's a decline. We're either going to cut through here in the next 8 hours through this Ichimoku cloud and invalidate that resistance that is above us, or it's going to push back down, right? That's what the Ichimoku cloud does. Again, let's go to the 15-minute. Do we have a flip? We do. We've got a flip. We've got a bullish flip. So now we want to watch this to go, how long is this bullish flip going to stay bullish before it flips bearish again, so that you can monitor your trades. Yeah, see, look at that. We could still come back down again, and then it'll be tomorrow that we get the breakout. So trade cautiously and trade consciously. Any questions again, guys? Obviously, you can ask in the comment section, but definitely go over to our Discord channel at Conscious Crypto Traders and participate in the daily technical analysis we do there, because that way you can run your ideas by and you can get some support and help there. And as always, you're always welcome to join my private mastermind, and the link for that is below. And you can check that out below. I'm doing a free mastermind this afternoon too, which you can join. So let's look at XRP. XRP is ready for an explosive move. We have an end date for the Ripple versus the SEC, which is in November. So there is a finality to it. It is looking more likely that Ripple is either going to win or they'll have to settle, because the SEC knows that they've got a fraudulent case, in my opinion, right? Very fraudulent case. And there's a lot of members of the international community that back that up, because they have not ruled that XRP is a security. So this is just 100% bogus, in my opinion. So everything comes to light, guys. You can't get away with shit now. You just can't. There's so much light coming into the planet right now. The consciousness is lifting, right? The gloves are off, and it's exposure time, and you can't be doing shenanigans during exposure time with all this light around. So that's good for XRP, right? Because at the moment, XRP is in a classic, this is beautiful. You know that drawing I did just before? Come up into a symmetrical triangle, right? More likely to continue to the upside 80% of the time. And we're right up against the resistance, ready to break to the upside and take us back up to 64 cents at least. Unbelievable, we're at 64 cents. This is so undervalued. I love XRP, because XRP is eventually going to be maybe $100 in the next 2 to 4 years. And if that's the case, every XRP you win in a trade, it will be $100, maybe even $1,000. Look at this, it's pushing up against resistance right now. So this is a really good time to have a look at the VPVR, what's going to go on. The VPVR is a really good indicator. I'll show you the one that I'm using. It is, can you see it? Volume profile visible range. That's the one I'm using. And let me just go back there. And what that does, oh, what's happened? Where's XRP? Where's my XRP? There we go. So remember I said when you've got big gaps here, this is where you can see sudden moves. And so this is where you can make the decision, do I market order in now because we are going to race up here, in which case let me just get in now and let me use risk management by putting in a tight stop loss underneath and then maybe another buy order a little bit lower. That's the risk that you've got to be thinking of, because on the hourly, I believe we've created support out of that value area low level. Oh, it's slowing down. Where are we? It's going to take time. Yeah, look at that. See, the bottom of this candle here is the value area low, and there's not a lot of resistance. Once we get above 62 cents, this could take off to the races and go all the way up to 67 cents, maybe even more. Because what's really good about XRP, I call it Usain Bolt, who was a fast Jamaican sprinter. I used to be a champion sprinter when I was at college. And Usain Bolt was one of my heroes, and he just bolts and XRP just bolts, right? And the VPVR can give you an idea of where we're going to either bolt to the upside or where we're going to just dump to the downside, right? So learn that indicator, guys. So this is where this strategy of market ordering in now, just so that you've got a position, small leverage, and then add it in if it takes off, or add more to the trade if we retrace, so that your dollar cost averaging into your trade, and then you can up it once it takes off to the races. That's when it's really volatile like this. That's, to me, from my opinion, that's the safest way to enter trades, so that you're not just putting everything in all at once. It reverses on you. You get stopped out, or you get liquidated, and you lose all of your position. You as a rule, you don't want to be putting more than 10% into any given trade anyway. If you are 10% of your holdings that you've got in your trading portfolio, and if you're new, you definitely don't want to be doing more than 2 to 5% until you've proven consistently that you can win trade after trade after trade. And that way, you just, you're putting in really good risk management. So that's it from me. Oh, actually, the S&P just let's just look at the S&P quickly, because we just got an alarm. and we're going off to the races. We have broken out of that bull flag and we're going off to the races. So I would say any moment now, we're taking off. So go to your charts, consider what I've said, do your own research, have a look at what you want to do to get in on this, and I'll see you in Discord server at Conscious Crypto Traders. And of course, if you want to come to my masterclass this afternoon, the link for that is below, and you can join that. We're going to get on Zoom. It will be recorded, so if you miss the live session, you can watch the recording. But what's good about the live session is we go backwards and forwards, and we have discussions, and people ask questions, and it's a lot greater value for you to show up live. And I'll see you then. And until then, trade consciously.